I'm Sarah, and welcome or welcome back to my crochet channel. Today is Coffee and Crochet with Sarah, and I've got a lot of things to talk about today, so bear with me. I've got a little bit of a scratchy voice. It's just the change in the weather. We went from 100-degree weather to 66 today. I think they said the high is going to be 75, which to me that's just perfect. Sunny and 75 to me is perfect weather. Alrighty, so we have a lot of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, of course, what's new this week. We're also going to talk about a yarn that I found this week. I realized I already had one of another color, and then I found this other one. 2 seconds. Then I found the other one, so I'm going to talk about it because it's really a cool yarn. And then we're also going to talk about what is linked double crochet. And I decided to go ahead and talk about this because I've been getting a lot of questions about what it is and why do it and the purpose, and is it useful? Is it a waste of time? I've gotten a lot of questions on it. So we're going to talk about it, the linked double crochet. And I'm also going to do a demonstration to show you how to do it if you want to. But before we do that, we need to clink in, right? So I've got my Coffee and Crochet with Sarah mug. My daughter was up visiting this last week. My daughter, son-in-law, and both grandkids were up from Oklahoma. They were here for about a week, and then they left and left the kids here for a week, and we had so much fun. Yes, they call me Oma, and Oma was a little tired afterwards, but we had so much fun. Because what happens is my granddaughter that lives here, she comes over and just stays the whole week also. And we just played and snacked and went places and did things. And there's just nothing like spending special time to make special memories with your family. So anyway, I mentioned that because I sent my daughter home with her own Coffee and Crochet mug, as well as one of our project bags. And I filled it up with yarn, so I was able to go through and give her some good yarns and send her home with that, because you all know she does Callie's Clips and Crochet Creations. It's named after her daughter, Callie. All right, so everybody, let's clinkety, clink, 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 and sip. So like I said, I've just had a little bit of a scratchy voice. It happens sometimes when the weather changes. All right, now, before we jump right into our conversation, it's time for shout-outs. Y'all know I love to find new crochet and craft YouTubers, and I found a really neat one this week. I hadn't even heard of her until Saturday. And so I was just kind of going through. I had one picked out, but then I thought, well, let me see what else I can find out there. And so I found this lady, and I just love her video channel. I love everything about her. She's super fun, a little bit silly like me, but very knowledgeable. Okay, so the name of her YouTube channel is Just Be Crafty, and I believe her name was Brittany, but she said it really fast. If I got the name wrong, please forgive me. But the channel is Just Be Crafty. And I have to tell you, I clicked on her channel, and she's got a little intro video, and I clicked on it. And one of the first things she's saying is, does my hair look big? And it was so funny because if you don't know what we as YouTubers worry about when it comes to, say, our hair or our clothes or our makeup or our glasses, different things like that, because YouTube can be a very scary place to be, and it can be also a very critical place. And so, yeah, I thought that was one of the funniest things, and I just fell in love with her channel. I mean, I really like it, and as I was watching her videos, it just made me laugh. And oh, I just noticed that Callie-Anna popped in. Yep, all the fun we had together last week. Callie-Anna is my granddaughter that was here last week. I have to tell you, the house is just way too quiet without the grandkids. But anyway, Just Be Crafty. Go find her. I'm going to post her link on my Facebook page, and I'll also post a link underneath when I send this over to YouTube, because I really want you to check her out. She's amazing. She goes to Joann's and she gets a whole bunch of things and just starts talking about if they're good or if they're not and things like that. And I just really, really, really liked her channel. So Brittany of Just Be Crafty. You're going to love her channel. I just know you are. All right, so that's our shout out of the week. All right, now let's get into our conversation. Today we're going to talk about linked double crochet. And, you know, what was that? I just thought I saw, oh, I thought I saw a question. I guess I didn't. It was an exclamation point. Anyway, linked double crochet is a way of joining, when you're doing a row of double crochets, of joining them together so it's not quite so holy. It's perfect for bags, like backpacks and purses and scarves if you want them to be extra warm. It's a really neat thing to do, but you don't have to. And if you get a pattern, say, I have some patterns out there that are just double crochet. And maybe you think they're a little bit too holy, but you like the length of the stitch. Well, you can do the linked double crochet. It comes out pretty much the same and still make that bag, and it won't be quite so holy. Same thing with anything really, a sweater, a hat or something, and you don't want it to be quite so holy because you want it to be warmer, we can do the linked double crochet. All right, so let's click over here to my top camera. And I've got two things I've double crocheted there. And I wanted to show you first, this is your basic double crochet. You can see it can be holy. And this is stitched with a medium weight number 4 yarn and my eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. What do you think about my nail polish? I'm in the middle of this. It's so funny. I put on some sparkles. It's red, blue, and purple. My granddaughter was over yesterday. She wasn't feeling very well, and her dad had to run some errands, so she laid on my couch for a little bit. And I asked her if she liked my nail polish. She said it looked like pepper on my nails. I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, back to our conversation. This is 3 rows of double crochet. You can see that it can be holy. And if you don't want that, this is the same thing, 3 rows of a linked double crochet. And you can see it's not near as holy. And it's super easy to do. All right, let me grab this other yarn I have ready here. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll still chain the same amount if you want to chain it. And this one we have 12, so we need 14 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now, normally when we start a row, we begin by double crocheting in the 4th chain from the hook. When you begin with your linked double crochet, you're going to not yarn over. You're going to go in the 3rd chain, pull up a loop. Then you'll go in the 4th chain and pull up a loop. You'll still have 3 loops on your hook, similar than when we do a regular double crochet. And then you'll just finish your double crochet. All right, now how we link them together is before we do our yarn over, we go in what's called this bar, and that's the in-between bar that runs across, and we pull up our loop. That links it together. All right, then we'll yarn over. Whoops, did that wrong. Then we'll go in the next double crochet or stitch and pull up a loop. You'll have those 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. All right, so in order to make the linked double crochet, you're going to go in this bar that runs across the stitch and pull up a loop. Then you'll go in the next stitch or chain and pull up a loop. You'll have those 3 loops and finish your double crochet. And what this does is it links them together like this one, so you don't have holes. It makes a warmer hat or scarf or poncho or whatever you're making. And then also, if you're making a bag, you don't have big holes where you can lose things through. And so it's a really neat technique. All right, so when you're looking at your stitch, you'll have those what's called a bar going across. All right, instead of yarning over and then going in, because this is how we make a regular double crochet. All right, instead of doing that, you go through the bar and pull up your first loop. Then you go through the next stitch or chain and pull up your next loop, and then you just finish your double crochet. And all your stitches will come out linked together. You're getting the same height without the holiness. Okay? And you can do this on anything that calls for straight rows of double crochet. Bag, like I said, hats, scarves. Let's do it again. We'll go through that bar that's in the middle of the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Then you'll go in the next stitch or chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first two, yarn over, and go through the second two. And once you get the hang of it, you'll be stitching it just as fast as if you were stitching a regular double crochet. Okay? It doesn't look exactly the same, of course, because, let's get these two for comparison. You're getting about the same height. Now I noticed that this one, this is the linked double crochet. This is 3 rows and this is 3 rows. And you can see it's just a smidge taller, not much, just a smidge. And so if you are a tight crocheter, you might have to adjust your gauge a little bit when you switch to the linked double crochet. But it's a great thing to do. It makes great bags, you know, purses, lots of things where you don't want it to be really holy. Okay, you get the same amount of stretch. You get the same amount just about as the height. But remember, sometimes when you change things like that, you do have to adjust your tension or your gauge and just measure. Remember, measure, 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 measure as you go, and it'll work out just fine. It makes anything that has straight rows of double crochet, you can use the linked double crochet, and it will give you a tighter weave. You won't have the holes. It'll be warmer. And I like it for bags and purses because you don't have those holes where things can fall out if you stitched it in a double crochet. And you can do this on any pattern. For instance, I have some where I've just double crocheted the bag out, and it may be too holy for you, and you can do the linked double crochet. So it's a really great technique to use. And really, it's not much different than the regular double crochet. Is that same way as treble? No, a treble double crochet, you do the wraps around the hook, not go through the bar. But if you want to link it, you still can. Just make sure you do through the bar, okay? That going through the bar is what makes it be linked together. But a treble crochet and a double crochet, with the double crochet you have 2 loops. With the triple crochet you have 3 loops, basically, when you're working. Okay? So, what did she say? Okay. Wasn't a question, just a statement. So, anyway, the long and the short of the story is linked double crochet can be used anywhere where you have straight rows of double crochet and you just want it to be a more condensed and closed stitch. Okay? And if your pattern doesn't call for the linked double crochet and it's straight rows, you can still do that. The key to getting it right, though, is always measure as you go. You know that's something I say all the time. I have tape measures everywhere. And so I measure, 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 measure as I go. And you'll probably hear me say that 350 million times. All right, let me get a quick sip of my coffee. All right, I want to show you this yarn. It's kind of funny. I bought this one. This is the Mandala Tweed Stripes. And it's a really cool yarn. I want to show you this underneath this other camera real quick so you can see it up close. And it's really interesting. Let me pull some of this out here. This is basically 2 colors of yarn wound together. Let me unwind it a little bit. All right. I did find that it's a little splitty when I worked with it, but I really, really liked it. It's a medium 4. This particular color is called Dragonfly. and it's really pretty. It's like different shades of blues and yellows and greens. And I thought this would make a really nice item for fall. Well, I was in was it Michael's or Joanne? I can't remember. But I picked this one up. It was Joann's. And this, I didn't realize that this and this were the same yarn. I already had the blue one, and I picked this one up, and it's absolutely stunning. And it's the same way. It's 2 yarns wound together. It's a medium weight number 4. They're both very soft yarns. I do like the texture of the yarn. It's a medium weight number 4. And this one is called Talisman, or Talisman, however you want to say that. But I wanted to show you these because they're super pretty. And one of the things that I think they'll make really neat is scarves or shawls or hats. One thing to remember, when you get a yarn that's super busy, you have to be careful what stitch that you use. Because if you use a really intricate stitch, sometimes you'll lose the stitch because the yarn is super busy. And that's why I think these yarns here will be really perfect for like winter shawls, scarves, I said shawls, hats, but just winter items. And so I thought these are really cool. And I had forgotten that I had the blue one, and I picked up this one. I have 2 of each now. But anyway, I just wanted to show those to you. They're really neat. Joann's has them. That's where I got them, was Joann's. Or you can get them online. They're from Lionbrand, Mandala, or Mandala, however you want to say that. Tweed stripes. It depends on what part of the country or the world you're in, how things are pronounced sometimes. And so, anyway, I wanted to show you those because they're super cool, super pretty yarns. And they weren't on sale or anything. I think it was, I used a coupon at Joann's. Okay? Now, you ready? What's new this week at Posh Pooch Designs? All right, so Friday we did our Friday fun. And we made cork coasters lined with crochet. And I want to show you what I did with mine. That was upside down. I wrote the word home on it with just a black Sharpie. You can use, like if you have some stamps, when I mean stamps, I mean ink stamps. You can do that also and put it on there. Now, I didn't spray a clear, get this so it's not upside down, a clear coat on there, but you certainly could. And it's just a fun thing you can do. You purchase these at your local store. I think I got 6 for $3.50 approximately. I bought them at Hobby Lobby. I've seen them at Michael's and at Joann's. And you can find the cork and the cork products. They're usually near the leatherworking stuff for some reason. I don't know why, but that's where they were. And you just used your hole punch, and when we added trim. It's super fun, super easy, and they're super easy to make for anything. You could put happy birthday, you could put happy anniversary, new baby, and put a stamp of a baby rattle or something, or how about a paw print? Okay, so that was what we did this week for our Friday fun day. All right, the other thing we did was this shawl that's right behind me, and I'm going to put the roaming camera on that. This is our cluster flower or flower cluster, either way, granny square scarf. Let me get my chair out of the way. There we go. Now, what we did is we made the squares, and then we did it in 2 steps. We did the squares first because you can use those to make anything, a bag, a hat, scarf, blanket, whatever you want to make, a lapgan, with those squares. They're approximately 5 by 5 inch squares. And then we made this beautiful scarf and added a great big tassel. My grandmother always called them tassels, so I say tassel, but I guess that upsets people, so I'm going to say tassel. So anyway, it's just super. And someone said, well, how do you wear it? You wear it just like my model's wearing it. You put the point in the front and then wrap it around the back and bring it to the front. Now, if you don't want to wear it that way, you can put the point in the back and just drape it forward. Both ways are fine. And so that is our granny cluster or cluster flower granny square scarf. And it's super easy to make. We did a really fun join, and then we used a trim, real thin trim around the edge. And then I showed you at the end of that video how to make a nice tassel. And so that was one we did last week. All right, the thing we did starting yesterday, we started a mini crochet along. And what we did is the first thing we did was make the red and white striped buntings. And you're going to need 3 of these little pennants or triangles for each bunting. Okay, we did that with step 1. Here is the completed bunting. Step 2, we're going to make these blue ones that look like the field of blue with a few white stars on it. And then on Friday, I'm going to show you how to put it all together for our Friday fun day. And then I'm also going to show you how to make a really simple star in the gold if you want to add it as well. And I'll show you how to add that as well also. And that's our American flag bunting. And I wanted to get it out there. It's super easy. One of the things that's important to me this time of year is that we get to still crochet, and we want to make sure we're crocheting things not like big heavy blankets, but things that we can still enjoy our craft or our art without getting all hot and heavy. Now I know that here it's been cooler. I mean, like I said, the highest today is going to be 75. It was 66 earlier. Okay, and so what we can do is do crafts and crochet and things through the summer where we can still use our art but not make great big heavy things. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do with our Friday Fun Day, as well as do some things we haven't done with some new and different things. Now, next Friday, I have a really fun project, but I want to go ahead and tell you something that you're going to need. And that is you're going to need some 1-inch rings. And you know the Olympics are coming, right? And that's a little bit of a hint. Not this Friday, but the next Friday. So you got 2 weeks to find some 1-inch rings. You can use plastic, you can use metal, or whatever you've got. Now, I found these steel rings over by the jewelry department. They have some that are thinner that you can use if you want to. They have some that are bigger you can use if you want to. And another thing you can use is the 1-inch upholstery rings that are made out of plastic. And you'll find those over by the fabrics department around the curtain area where you make curtains and stuff. You can also find them in your regular stores over by the curtain rods. And so there's lots of choices there. But basically you're going to need at least 5, maybe 6 or 7 1-inch rings. And this is not this Friday, but next Friday. And I wanted to give you a heads up so you can run out and find some 1-inch rings. And the hint to what we're making is the Summer Olympics. I'm so excited. My granddaughter is obsessed with Simone Biles. My 9-year-old, or almost 9-year-old, she goes to gymnastics. She loves it. Everywhere we go, she finds a balance beam or a place to flip. I mean, she just loves it. And she is completely obsessed with Simone Biles. She watches everything she does. She's watched all the videos on YouTube from when she was a child. And so we're really into the Olympics this year. And I love the Olympics anyway. I love both the summer and the winter Olympics. I love all the skiing. I love all the gymnastics, you know, from summer and winter. And so I thought it would be fun to have a little fun to make something about the Olympics. Now, we're not going to be using the name Olympics because I know that's, you know, a copyright name. But we're going to be making something called rings. And it's going to be fun. Okay? I wanted to give you a heads up so you can run out and find you some 1-inch rings and whatever you want. Plastic, metal, steel, wire, whatever. Long as they're 1 inch. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I know that was a lot of information. One thing to remember, when I do this on Facebook, as far as the demonstration, it can be a little bit fast. Once I get it over to YouTube, you have the ability to slow down the video. And then you can watch the demonstration portions just a little bit smaller if you want to. That's one thing about YouTube. There's so much stuff that you can do to make your experience better. You can adjust your volume up or down. You can make it faster. You can make it slower. Things like that. You can fast forward it or you can pause it. Lots of things to make your experience on YouTube for yourself a lot better. I get comments all the time, can you slow down? Can you do this quicker? Can you be louder? Can you be quieter? And a lot of that stuff is in your control. And it depends on what device you're on as well. If you're on a laptop or an iPad, which I do a lot of my watching on my iPad because I can carry it with me. You know, people watch on their phone, they're like, it's too small. Well, use a bigger device, you know. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you'll go out and get some of this Mandala Tweed. It's beautiful yarn, and I don't know how much it was. You'll have to look that up online. But you can find it at Joann's and, of course, on the Lionbrand Facebook page, or not Facebook page, but website. Alrighty. Now, another thing is if I talk too fast, you can slow that down on YouTube as well. Alrighty. So, again, that's all I've got for you. I'm so glad you're all here and spending this time with me, because remember, I can't do any of this, none of it, without all of you who watch my videos and how much I appreciate that. See you next week.